Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we have something a little bit different. This is the drag versus rice challenge that I had an idea for a while ago, and the concept was pretty simple. We take a Bruckle Moonhawk Drag Edition and an Ibishu Pessima Custom, and then we do a bunch of scenarios with both vehicles and see which ones are faster on what scenarios. And the procedure for this, I put a little bit of effort into it to try to make it pretty fair. So I said each vehicle had to complete the scenario at least 3 times. And on a couple of them, I did it 4 times. And then I took the fastest lap, or the fastest time through the scenario from those, and I put them side by side so you can see it. Now, you can't really see all around you just because I took just the center of the screen where the car is. But if you're watching this, you can pretty easily kind of see like where each car is in comparison to each other. And they're running at the same time. So you can tell right now, like, the Pessima is ever so slightly ahead of the Moonhawk. Will it hold the lead? It depends on the course and if I'm able to drive that Moonhawk to its capabilities. And I, of course, know the results here because I'm dubbing this afterwards. I'm just basically watching the video and I don't have to do anything. It is so easy and convenient doing this. But I'm going to not spoil anything. I'm going to let you see the results. Because it'd be really weird if I was actually like talking and then trying to like talk about the car I was driving previously without really remembering it. See, here I can actually look at it though and say, you know, the Moonhawk is getting whooped on by that Pessima on this course because this course has a lot of corners. And that is where the quote-unquote rice will win. And I call it drag versus rice just because I thought it was a cool name, but honestly, the custom Pessima is not really a ricer. It has performance upgrades that actually make it a pretty decently fast car. By no means as fast as a drag Moonhawk in a straight line, but it corners so much better. So it really just depends. How many corners are there on the course? And that decides whether or not the Pessima will beat the Moonhawk. This one, lots of corners. And we are almost at the end of the first scenario, and Moonhawk, not really looking too well, especially that last corner. I'm in the dirt a lot. It looks like maybe it's going to pull it in some at the end, but it just takes way too long to go through that corner. By the way, I left some crashes in just a bit to tide you over. So like there's another crash and there's another crash, and just kind of saw the timers. But I wasn't too concerned about the numbers. I mostly just wanted to see the this car finished kind of deal. So now this one is running on the regular course, and something that happened that was kind of weird. It's at 2 different times a day for some reason, and what happened was I did one scenario, then I came back to this scenario, and it gave me the description of the other scenario, and the time of day was like it was in that one. So it looks like it's 2 totally different things just because it's so much darker on the right side versus the left side, but the only reason it's like that is because of a glitch in the game, which I had never seen before, so I thought that was kind of interesting. Anyways, this course though, it has more straightaways than the other one, so this gives the Moonhawk a much better chance at winning, and really right now, the cars are pretty much neck and neck. You're looking at them and they're both hitting these checkpoints one after the other. Like I think the Moonhawk got a few, then the Pessima came through, got a few. So it's a pretty close race so far. Moonhawk ever so slightly in the lead though at the moment, although I did kind of flub that churn right there, and the churns are where the Pessima will catch up. So like now they're neck and neck again. Pessima just ever so slight lead. Did slide a little bit more there than I probably needed to, but it's hard to get a perfect run. I tried to do it where I did like, okay, I'm going to do all the runs for the Pessima, then all the ones for the Moonhawk. It helped a little bit so I don't kind of get in the habit of driving one car a certain way or anything and then having to switch back. It's just one car all the way through. That helped a little bit, I think, to get consistent and fair times between the two. But as you can see, Moonhawk has a lead, and what's after this is a big old straightaway. So unless I did some amazing cornering with the Pessima, which I actually did because we're putting the Pessima up in the front just for a second until the Moonhawk's able to straighten out and put the power down. Once it does that, Moonhawk crosses the line before the Pessima. And it's about a 2-second difference between, well, actually only a 1-second difference between the two, really. And there's a little bit of crashing going on. I just left it in there because who doesn't like crashing? And then on to the next one. Now this one isn't on a track. This one is on a regular old paved road. Although it's really quite bumpy. This is a road where there was a few spots where I had to really slow down just a bit to make sure I didn't spin out. Like right here, it was pretty bad. I had to make sure I was really careful on that, and I spun out a lot of times because we were going fast through that section. And then right there also, those bumps will throw you off. You see the Moonhawk just about hitting the trees right there. But right here already, the Moonhawk has a nice, huge lead because that was a big old straightaway at the start. But then the curves start coming, and that is giving the Pessima a chance to try to catch up. The question is, are there enough curves for it to catch up? And at this point, it looks really close. Like, they are neck and neck once again. It looks like Moonhawk just got a little bit of a lead, but it is swerving all over the place into the grass because that was a terrible cornering. I don't know how that was my fastest take, but it was. I guess I did good on the first half versus the other ones. And then, again, real close, both going around that corner about the same time, a little bit ahead on the Moonhawk. And unfortunately, there's only one more corner really for the Pessima to be able to catch up on, and I don't think it's going to happen. I actually forgot which one wins this one. So I'm going to be surprised myself. Oh, it's got to be the Moonhawk, because this is a huge straightaway here, and they're both coming into the straightaway about the same time. And the problem I had is the Pessima spun out around here once, so I actually slowed down a bit. With the Moonhawk, I never had it spin out right there, so I didn't slow it down. I just didn't want to spin out. So there you go. Moonhawk wins by a much bigger margin. That is a 3-second margin about that it won by. And then we have 2 more tests that we did. I don't know why it was showing the vehicle selector there. That was a whoopsie by me. I had to do some funky stuff with the editing. I still use just a command line editor, so I did the cropping and all that all in the command line. It worked good enough. I'm happy with the results. The only thing I'm kind of unhappy about is the way I'm having to overdub it. I'm having to use a piece of external software I don't usually like to use, but it was the easiest thing to do. Anyways, this road, really, really bumpy. This road would bump me so hard and spin me out so many times that it was actually the hardest one to execute. Even though it was actually, I think, the shortest scenario there was. But simply put, Moonhawk is able to get through those bumps better. Like, I didn't expect it, but the custom is just so low and so stiff that it can't compete with the Moonhawk that just has a little bit more ground clearance, and it's popping up itself up on 2 wheels, and I did that with both of the cars on that corner. And it just couldn't compete, though, because of that. Like, I had to take things extra slow to make sure I remained in control of the vehicle. So Moonhawk, easy win right there. That's 3-1, I believe, on the scoreboard. So Pessima not looking so good for Rice. It looks like Drag is doing a pretty good job. But now we have another more technical course. And by the way, all the scenarios you see here are the ones that come with the game. There are none that are mods or anything like that, so you can go and play them if you wanted to. But anyways, this one's much more technical. So this is where the Ibishu should shine, hypothetically at least. And we can watch it doing its thing. So right now they're pretty close, maybe a slight advantage to the Pessima, but not by much. And I think the Moonhawk just about made it nil right on that corner. Yeah, these 2 cars are right on each other. You know, I wish there was some sort of ghost mechanic. That would be great, to be able to see the Moonhawk on the Ibishu one while you're racing it and stuff. That would be even better than this, but since it doesn't have that, that's the best I can do. Right there, that is a terrible bump. I actually flipped over there almost once. I was like up on 2 wheels, trying not to flip over. It was crazy. It looks so flat, but yet I did that. I don't know how. Anyways, still really quite close. There's a little bit of an advantage to the Ibishu, but there are some straightaways coming where I think the Moonhawk can make up some ground, like right there where the Ibishu currently is. The Moonhawk should be able to do that much faster. But there is a huge gap between these 2, actually. Dude, when you get the technical courses, that's where it really shines. Like, the actual really tight corners, it almost nullifies the advantage of the Ibishu. It seems like the advantage is more on the those smaller corners like that, because you can do 80 in the Ibishu with that and then 40 in the Moonhawk. With the really tight ones, you gotta go so slow with both of them. The difference is like nullified because of the acceleration of the Moonhawk. Kind of unexpected. At least with the way I drove it was. So anyways, there we go. Ibishu winning by a big margin, and that's the end of the video. So until next time, this is WhyBeAre. I'll see ya.